What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 271 of the Aussie Gamers Experience podcast. In the show this week, Gears of War 5 is here. A whole lot of nope. A hell lot of nope. Erica, I think I'm in love. Jerk Link, Tell Me a Tale, PS Plus, Games with Gold, and much, much more. Editing Lucas. Go and play the track, mate.
This is the Aussie Gamers Experience podcast, the show with barking dogs in the background, sneezing, coughing, and all of those nice little things that remind you that this is not a paid production. Oh, and in between all of that, there's some video game stuff too. Enjoy the show.
Thank you for tuning into the show this week. Today is Monday, the 2nd of September, 2019. Holy shit, it's already September.
Yay, woo!
Yeah.
Woo! I love September.
Okay. I am your host, Snoogs, and joining me for hosting duties this week is the one and only Grejio. Good evening, brother. How are you?
I'm pretty good. And yourself?
I'm always fabulous for a Monday. Medication must be working.
Yes.
Also joining us this week's my other good bro, Lucas. How are you, mate?
Good. Hello, everybody. And yes, I absolutely love September. Thank you very much.
What is it about September that you love?
Oh, no, nothing in particular. It's just a good word to say.
Just a good one, yeah?
My birthday this month, asshole.
Well, I know that. But that's only one day.
No, this is my birth month, buddy.
Birth month.
I make my family celebrate my birth month, my birth week, my birthday, and my birthday Boxing Day.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
You might think you're an only child.
No, there's four of us.
Oh, no, that's the weird part. But I would thought it's also because September's really the kickoff new games in the year. This is where we get that big flood towards the end of the year. They just all start cramming in. It's like the gaming silly season.
Well, all the developers want to celebrate my birthday, so they just release all these cool games for me to play.
Well, it's either that or that they got lucky at New Year's and now is when the games have come into life.
Well, yeah. 9-month gestation periods.
Yeah. That was a good New Year's for your parents.
That's all right. Well, 3 of the 4 kids that mum and dad have are all born in September.
Wow.
Those 3, including me, are all within 3 days of each other.
Well, you know how they bring in the new year.
Mm-hmm. With a bang.
Yeah.
With a bang.
Oh, dear. Yeah, my old man loved coming into the new year with a bang.
We've only just started and it's already gone off the rails.
Yeah, I know. We're talking about my parents having sex.
Better yours than mine.
Yeah.
Well, I was the youngest, so I assume that the last time they actually had sex was 36 years ago.
Yes. There you go. That's a good assumption to make.
36 years ago and 9 months.
Yes. See, I'm the eldest and I don't understand why they tried to perfect perfection because it just didn't work. All right.
I'm hoping lightning strikes twice.
No, never.
No.
Never. Look at the size of the nose. Love you, bro. This week in gaming, we're going all the way back to 2008 for the little game that could.
Could what?
Well, the little game that probably should have, but really didn't. Spore.
All right.
Oh, yeah. I've got well, it's probably not an interesting story, but I've got one about Spore.
Okay. Well, Spore was published by EA, developed by Maxis, and it was number 10 on the 2008 Game of the Year.
10?
So, number 10 in the Game of the Year stakes.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's not too bad. That's pretty good. And the reason I say it was the little game that could was because this game had so much promise and so much. Well, just look at the Sims and the pedigree behind that, and that's exploded. And Spore was touted to go the same way, but it just never did.
Mm.
What's your bit of story about it, mate?
Well, my story about Spore is that Spore was such a successful game that they were actually giving away free copies of it with the Daily Telegraph. Did you know that?
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, they actually gave it away with the Daily Telly. And on the day that I got it, which would have been it was the 2nd of August 2008, where I picked up the Daily Telegraph and got Spore for free. And I brought it home, chucked it into the computer, installed it, and I was like, all right, let's get this game. Let's play this game. You know, you start from like the beginning of life and you build this thing up and you can turn it into whatever you want. And here I was starting it off, playing it. And then my wife goes into labour, doesn't she? And we have to go and spend the rest of the night in the hospital giving birth to my bloody daughter. Never got to play that game ever again.
Oh, goodness.
So that's my memory of that game, Spore, because, that was the day my daughter was born. And, you know what brand new babies are like. That was the end of my gaming life for quite a while, and I never went back to it.
They take up a little bit of time. I know one of mine took away my gaming room. Lucky she's cute, I suppose. By April 30, 2009, 100 million individual creatures had been created in Spore. That's a few.
By the devs playing it, because I was bored, waiting for the checks to come in. Well, Radica said no. He's in the chat saying that the retailers couldn't give it away, and my daughter actually saved me. Oh, well. Poor little game.
All right. Well, there was a possibility over there. But before we get into the main meaty bits of the show, a quick g'day to Kaza, Martikins, Radicus, and Skrill. Thanks for joining us, peeps. What do you say we jump into the bit of game talk?
Please do.
Greg, you're window shopping.
Yes.
Space cows.
Space cows.
I'm intrigued. I probably
So was
shouldn't
I.
be, but I am.
So was I when I read it. I read the name and I was like, Space Cows. I was like, everything else faded away, and I was just like, that is the one. So it's made by a company called Walkabout Games. It's coming out on Switch, and it's going to be on Steam as of this Thursday. Mm-hmm. It's a twin stick shooter where you have a weaponized plunger, and you have to fight an evil corporation to save cows in space. And you float around in zero gravity combat using your farts for dashes and a slow-mo feature while you float around as a naked farmer.
Oh my god.
Look, it's toilet humor galore. The art style really does remind me of like Ren and Stimpy and other old 90s Nickelodeon cartoons.
Oh, 100%. I'm looking at it on Steam.
Yeah. It's going to be $12 on Switch. I think I just looked at that alone. That's worth $12, I figure.
I'm so on the Switch. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like fun. Yeah, there's not much more. I think I've sold it right there and then. So,
are we watching the same video? Are you guys on acid or what? This looks like shit.
It looks funny.
What the hell?
It looks funny.
I'm on Steam.
You're on crack.
Probably. But it looks quite amusing. It's just a basic, simple twin-stick shooter.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it more from the visual side of it.
Twin-stick shooter? I'm looking at someone floating around.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Okay.
So obviously you'll use one to control your flabby body floating around in zero gravity, and the other one will be where you aim and shoot.
Right.
An utterly cheesy
toilet plunger.
Game.
Yeah, you shoot your weaponized toilet plunger at mutants, as it calls them.
Right.
As Space in M-O-O.
Space Cows Rodeo. Mutants. An entire 8 seconds of fun.
That's the name of the space dairy that you work in.
Yeah, okay. Right. Cows with guns.
Yeah, I'm not even joking. That is literally part of the blurb. You're in a space dairy, and yeah, there's an event happens and starts infecting the cows, and you got to save the cows. So,
Look,
it's just got a lot of fart humor. You've got a naked dude as your character. I figured it just looks like dumb fun. Yes, it's not the world's greatest video game ever made, but for $12, what were you expecting?
Yes, right. So you play as a naked dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Now I can see your
that little
attraction
dude
to it.
floating around, he's naked. Yeah,
Totally. Nothing like a bit of space wang.
Yeah.
All right. Let's jump into some games. Lucas.
Yeah.
Are we talking any spoilers tonight?
No. I'm not going to spoil anything. The game's not even out yet, so I wouldn't do that. But good. I will talk about. Are we ready to tell people what we're talking about?
Yes, please do. My reason for questioning: we're going to be talking about Gears of War number 5.
That's right. It comes after Gears of War 4. Yeah, how about that? That's a bit. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
So yeah, look, I've been playing Gears of War 5. I've been lucky enough to receive an early copy of it, and I've been playing it on my Xbox One X. And a few things that I'll talk about is mainly things that aren't going to spoil anything, but more about the performance and sort of an overall feeling of the game. But on the Xbox One X, they actually are boasting 4K 60 frames in all game modes. And the reason why I bring up that is a lot of games these days on consoles, there's 60 frames in multiplayer, but only 30 frames in campaign. But Gears of War 5 is they're talking up the 4K 60 frames in every mode, so multiplayer and campaign. And it's true, and it looks bloody beautiful playing it on Xbox One X and a 4K TV, and it is a very, very good-looking game. And there was something that I was a little bit sort of hesitant about when I played the alpha or beta or whatever it was with the multiplayer, is that it threw you into a new mode, which is in the full game, which I didn't know was going to be in the full game, but it's called Boot Camp. And what Boot Camp is, essentially, I don't know why they're talking it up as there's this new mode of Boot Camp, because it's just a tutorial that every game has. It's just a separate thing called Boot Camp. But it was very bright, colourful, and sort of pretty looking. And it looked great, but I was like, oh, that's not Gears. Like, Gears is supposed to be gritty and dark and, that kind of feeling. But I am pleased to say that the actual campaign does get dark and gritty, and it does have that great Gears feeling to it. So it's not just a pretty bright coloured game, because, a lot of games are doing the bright coloured thing. Like we talked about that
Rage.
Other game, Rage. Yeah, Rage had that sort of bright colour palette, and so does Cyberpunk and all that. That's all well and good, but you got to keep it to games that sort of suit that kind of look. But no, Gears 5 looks like Gears, and it's got to be praised for that, for being new, being pretty, but also staying true to what Gears is. And there's some parts in it that kind of feel like, wow, this is kind of like a horror game, and there are a couple of bits in it that made me jump a little bit, because it's fast paced in some places, it's slow paced, it can jump at you and scare the damn shit out of you. But,
nice.
Yeah, and also moving forward from Gears 4. They haven't, like you get like your Call of Duties, which, let's ignore the new one coming, which is completely new and fantastic. But every year they were kind of like the same game, they've just changed it a little, maybe a new story. Gears 4 and 5, I feel like they've upgraded everything in Gears 5. So it's not just Gears 4 that just has a new story. It's not just the same engine rehashed, all the same assets. They've redone everything, and it all looks really nice. As for controls, they've also tweaked the control system a little bit, which So I guess maybe Gears veterans might be a little bit, oh, that's different, but I would consider myself a Gears veteran. I've played every single one, and I quite like the new controller layout. And when I say new controller layout, they haven't just changed everything around. They've just changed a couple of things that have tightened it up a little bit, which I'm really happy with. As for the story, I'm only halfway. Well, I'm not even halfway. I think I'm about a third through the campaign, and it's grabbing me. I'm intrigued. While I think I've predicted what's going to happen, I don't know, obviously, because I haven't finished it. But I'm feeling like it's going to be predictable. But I guess there's only one way to find out, and that's to keep playing. But the best thing about it is I do want to keep playing because it's good.
Very good.
I guess the main spoilers here is that I'm probably giving away a little bit that's going to be in my review that I'm making. But hey, that's great for anyone that wants to listen to our show. You know what they did with what's that Uncharted DLC that my brain's not working tonight. I don't know what's going on, but anyway,
I've got
Lost Legacy.
Well, yeah.
Lost Legacy, where Uncharted's a very linear game, similar to the way Gears works. But what they've done in Gears 5 is those kind of semi-open world sections. I've run into one of those where it's not just straight corridor, go this way to checkpoint ABC. There's a partial open world where you can do a little bit of exploring. They've even added in side missions, optional side missions. I don't ever recall that being a part of Gears of War.
No, neither do I.
That to me, that's a welcome part of the game, because that does add some things that you can do come, say, second playthrough, or if you like to take your time in your first playthrough, there's extra things to look for. Obviously, there's collectibles and all that sort of stuff, same as the previous games, but now there's like little side missions that you can go and do, which are going to reward you with extra things. They've even added stuff like a real light RPG aspect where you can level up certain abilities, and you can get cool new abilities in the game. You can see from when you start the game what the abilities are, but you just can't use them yet until you've unlocked them. So I don't know, is it a spoiler if I mention what some of the abilities are?
No, I don't think so.
No. Yeah, guess not. I mean, it's
if you don't want to hear about it, jump forward 5 minutes.
Yeah, but there's a robot that comes around with you. It's been through the original series and the previous games, called Jack. And Jack has these abilities, and Jack can cloak himself so he doesn't get... originally, Jack cloaked himself, and it was a way of teleporting him to where he needed to be without making it look like he was just teleporting, because that's kind of impossible. So instead of him just appearing, it was a cloak. That's why you couldn't see him until he appeared, is because he was invisible. But now you can upgrade Jack, and Jack can cloak you. So you can become invisible for a short time, and it's on a cooldown, which means that you can sneak up on enemies and stealth kill them. Gears of War now has the ability to have stealth gameplay. I reckon that's pretty cool. I really liked that idea. If you've got a sniper who can one hit down you, you can cloak yourself and just sprint like all shit across the battlefield, and then just do a takedown on him and get rid of him. It's pretty damn cool. But obviously, if you open fire while cloaked, the cloak disappears and you're visible. So that's one of the abilities you get. And one of the tweaks that they've added to Jack, the little companion bot, is that you can now use Jack to retrieve items for you. So if you run out of ammo, instead of running out of cover and getting killed, you can direct Jack to go and pick up ammo and bring it back to you. Kind of like, fetch, doggy. And and it can
That's
get.
actually really clever.
It is. It's really cool, and I've mainly been using it as a bit of a lazy technique, right? Because this is something you can do as well. If there's a collectible or a little upgrade in the distance, instead of running all the way down there and picking it up and waiting for the animation for your character to bend down, pick up the thing, and then put it away, you just send Jack, go get that, will you? And he picks up the collectible thing for you. It's so good. So, that's what I mainly use him for. Just like, do my shit. I don't want to bend over. You get it.
It's quite handy.
Yeah.
It's like
it's great.
It's like the rifle that in Destiny. There was one rifle that had a perk where you could shoot ammunition to pick it up. So if you're like running low, you just shoot across the field and you shot it, and then it would pick it up for you. It was really handy.
Yeah, that does sound handy. But that's what he can do. He can also pick up different guns for you. So if there's a sniper rifle out there and you want that, and you don't have a sniper rifle, he'll go get it for you. Or there's also like little sort of hidden things that you can pick up with Jack. So something that might be outside of the playable area, you can send Jack to go and pick it up. And also there might be guns that are up too high. You can't get up there. Jack flies, so Jack can go and get it for you and bring it down. The only thing is he's limited to only picking up light weapons until you level him up and upgrade him, and then he can pick up like the miniguns and the turrets and stuff for you and bring them back.
Cool.
So there's some really cool things that I've already run into in the first third of the game. And it's looking very promising so far. I'm not going to comment too much on the story. I've sort of already said my piece on that, and I won't spoil anything. My review won't have any major or even minor spoilers in it either. But there might be some things that people may want to experience for themselves. But I'll work out what'll go in and what won't go in due time. But yeah, do you guys have any questions on it?
I have a question that does kind of revolve around the story, actually, because I'm yet to start playing it. But the Gears 4, I got to a point in Gears 4 where I kind of felt like it was like you could feel it was building to something, and I wanted to. I put it aside for a few weeks because at the time I was busy and flat out with other things, and I wanted to experience it in one go. So I put it aside, and then I jumped into it, expecting it was going to be like that. It was building to this thing, and it was literally 7 minutes before I finished. So it kind of just it finished, and it might be slight spoilers. It does finish on very much a cliffhanger. Does it pick up from where you left off in 4?
Yeah, absolutely it does. Yes. Yeah. And at the start of 5, it does a previously on Gears 4 and gives you like I don't know how long it went for. It might have been like a 5-minute refresher.
Yep.
So which I thought was fantastic. Like I played Gears 4, but it was probably 2 years ago now. And it was actually really good to have that refresher because it does remind you. And yeah, Gears 5 picks up right there, right from the end of it. I believe that Gears 4, 5, and 6 will be another trilogy just like 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. So they've said that,
It'll have probably, some sort of resolution at the end of 5. But I reckon it will still be a partial cliffhanger for the final in the 3. It's going well. I just feel like they've put a lot of time and care into it because it's solid. It's good. Like I said, I haven't finished it yet, so I don't have any final thoughts on it, but it's looking positive, I think.
Awesome. Greg, you got any questions for it, mate?
No, not really. I think it's all pretty good. It's all straightforward. So yeah.
Uh-huh. All right, mate. Well, do you want to keep it going with Stellaris?
Sure. So this week, well, I think last week I mentioned that Stellaris was one of the games that was added to Game Pass last week.
Mhm.
So I thought I'd download it and give it a crack. It's what's known as a 4X grand strategy game, which the 4X stands for explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. So it's a really big sort of grand scale strategy game. Obviously, you're playing in the universe, so that plays out pretty easily. So you start off by picking a race, or you can make your own. Each has its own sort of government system, traits, limitations, tech, a whole bunch of things that pretty much will dictate how each race plays out in the game. You'll then start on your home world. You'll then start to explore your solar system, and then you'll move out into other systems and essentially expand your empire.
So is it like a top-down sort of thing, or
No. So it's 3-dimensional. You literally sit in a 3-dimensional space. You can move around it, like in all 3 axes, so up, down, side to side, and all that jazz. And you can zoom right out to the sort of the system level, and you can zoom right down into the ship level. So you've got that kind of level of
the ship
detail.
level.
Ship.
Oh.
Spaceship level.
Okay.
Right. So you'll have to manage your resource. Like, there's a lot to do in this game. You've got to manage your resources, your military, your government, your population, your diplomacy, your research, and your exploration. All those things are going all at once, and you have to keep your finger on all of them. Depending on the type of government you'll have, there'll be elections every X amount of years, or dictators overthrown, or whatever. Some of this stuff happens a little bit automatically, but you still have to keep abreast of it to make sure that you've you're heading in the right direction. Nothing's falling down. Nothing's going to undermine you. You've got a bunch of ships. So you've got side ships that help you explore and research. Construction ships will help you build your empire. Obviously, military ships you'll use for defense and attacking and playing out if there's a war that you get involved in. And then you've got colony ships that help you colonize new systems. It's one of those games that's a bit of a long burn. Obviously, with that much detail, the games are long and drawn out. I've been playing, and I've only sort of played one playthrough so far. I've put a few hours into it now. I got to this point in the game where I was like, I've played this for long enough now that if everything fell over right this second, I'd be okay starting again. So I went, screw it. I'm just going to declare war on all my enemies and see how this goes. Right? It went horribly.
Okay.
I died horrifically. Like, they overthrew me quite terrible. I was starting to feel a bit pressured anyway. There was 2 rather large systems that sort of decided they didn't like me through sort of no fault of my own. It was more just our ideals didn't line up, and they just didn't trust me. And then eventually they just got the dirts, and they joined together and went, all right, we're going to take this dude out. Or at least sort of just close their borders to me and just sort of pin me in. And then I was like, well, I want to see how the combat works. So I declared war on one of them, and they both came back rather hard. And yeah, I died rather significantly. So
I feel like Stellaris is probably the kind of game that I would really enjoy had I not been employed full time. It's kind of like an unemployed man's best friend, I guess. If I didn't have to go to work every day and had 12 hours every single day to try and burn, a game like this I reckon would be good fun. I think I would enjoy this.
Look, even in the bursts I played in, like if I play for an hour or so, like you can play for an hour. Sometimes you've got to really think about what you were doing last time before you pick up again, just to make sure you don't miss anything. But it is a game that you can play in short stints. There are other modes that I think would probably lend themselves to a shorter stint playthrough, but I haven't really checked them out yet. I just thought I'd play the normal mode and see how that went. But look, you're right. It is good fun. I've enjoyed playing it. Like I said, I reached a point where I was like, I'm not too precious about this yet, so let's just go out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, I'm not playing that with you. I just pulled it up on Steam, and it looks like Digital Risk. No.
Well, yeah, it kind of is. There's a lot more details. There's a lot more devil in the details than Risk is, but yes, it's Risk on steroids.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you have fun with that, mate.
Yeah, look, it's super fun.
I'm going to put it on a list, and if I ever get fired, I'll come back to it.
Yeah, sure.
That'll happen. I'll go to work and they'll say, look, unfortunately, because of this incident, you're no longer employed. I'll just pull out that list and go, well, I'm going home to play Stellaris. See you later.
Yeah. It's pretty good on the learning curve. There are a few little pockets of information that it doesn't explain super well, and I found myself confused about how they worked. But for the most part, it's got a little robot that teaches you step by step how to play the thing. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, it's actually quite helpful. But there is a lot to learn, and there's a lot to remember. So yeah, it's fun, but there's a lot going on. You have to be on your toes. So. Yeah.
Hey Siri, when I get fired, remind me to play Stellaris.
Okay. Yep.
Just a sec.
Just a sec. Working on you getting fired.
Yeah. Working on your resume now.
Okay. Well, it's put a reminder in saying place Dolores.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know when it's going to remind me to place Dolores, but we'll see.
Right at the worst time when your wife is right near you, go, who the fuck is Dolores? What do you mean by placing her?
Well, so that's on Game Pass now, yeah?
Yeah, it's on Game Pass, so you can get it for free at the moment. So it's
on
worth
Steam,
playing for free.
On Steam, it starts at $57.
Yeah, right.
I think it goes up from there.
Yeah, look, if you like strategy games, it's definitely worth $57. If you're not sure, maybe do a bit more research.
Yeah, paid at $10 for Game Pass. Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, it's been a week of new games this week.
Ooh.
I've got one that was released on the PS4 called Erica. Now, Erica is a interactive movie. Kind of a throwback to those FMV games from way back when. Oh,
yes. I did see something about this.
Is this the one where you play with your smartphone?
You can play with a phone. Yeah, okay. I played with the controller.
Right.
So with the controller, the only thing you have to touch is the touchpad. And what you do, like for instance, you've got the touchpad on the middle of the controller, and a Zippo lighter comes up on the screen, and you've got to flick the pad as if you're opening the top of it and then lighting it. And so you're doing all those little actions on the touchpad, as well as, you know, moving your finger to sort of say, hey, I want to look over there, or I want to look over this side of the room, or pick this thing to look at. And, you know, it's just that sort of little bit of interactivity, just quietly, absolutely brilliant and on point. So intuitive, it just quite simply works. You are playing as Erica, who has a bit of a troubled past. It seems that her mother and father were murdered while she was young. They were both, mother was a nurse, father was a doctor at a mental health sort of clinic, and you sort of progress the story there. I don't really want to get into the story a whole lot, because that is what is the big part of this game. The storytelling itself is done with full motion capture or motion videos. It's an interactive movie that you're watching. You've got different paths to choose, different things to check on, different ways of doing things. You can just sort of leave the controller and just let it play out and do its thing, or you can get really in-depth to it. The game that I played the other day went for about an hour and 40 minutes. And at the end of that hour and 40 minutes, I wanted to go again, but mentally I couldn't. It was just, I got that entrenched into the story and working out what was going on and where it was going to go and how I needed to do this next bit. It just absolutely zapped me. And I can't talk it up enough, really. The person who plays Erica, she sort of, she gives you this sense of foreboding, but also someone that needs help, just with her facial features and how she reacts to the choices that are made and the areas that you look in. It's all just done exceptionally well. Yeah.
I was given a bit of a live demo on this game, and it's probably gone 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I didn't actually realize at the time that this game was still so far from being released. Yep. And I remember wondering probably about 12 months later, thinking, I think that game's been cancelled, because I hadn't heard anything about it. And then all of a sudden it just gets released with like surprise, really. You told me the other day, you're like, we got a review code for a game called Erica. And at first I was like, okay, whatever that is. And then it dawned on me, that's the game that I watched. We didn't get to play it, but I was in a room with other media, and there was one guy sitting in the room with us playing the game. And that was this game. And that was back when, say, Skyrim VR was announced, as well as Doom VR. And that was back then when those games were coming out, when I saw this game being played. Yeah, and I don't know if they ran into some technical difficulties or if it was just that too early in development. But, that's strange how this game's just gone all of a sudden, hey, how you going? Because this is a PlayLink title.
Okay. It rolls on with that, does it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Like you download the app on your phone and you play it with your mobile phone as opposed to using a controller. But I feel like they've moved away from advertising it as a PlayLink game.
Well, that's good, because it's so much more. It's
than what?
Well, the stigma that's around the PlayLink games.
What stigma does the PlayLink games have?
Well, they're not very good. They're a little bit childish. There's not a lot of positivity about them. I know you've had good moments with them. I've had good moments with them, but a lot of the stuff that I've read and seen has been not overly favourable.
Well, there's not all the PlayLink games are like puzzle, like kiddie sort of games. Like, because I've done a review for Hidden Agenda, which is kind of like a similar game to what you're talking about. It's not FMV, it's not actual video. It still is video game, like
it's animated, yeah.
Yeah, animated, yeah, for lack of a better term. But similar style. It's basically watching a movie and having certain inputs, and that's what this one sounds like. But also another similar game is a game called Late Shift. Have you heard of that one?
Rings a bell.
Yeah, it's not a PlayLink title, but it is basically a movie, and you just play through it, and it's like a choose-your-own adventure, really.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what Erica is.
Yeah, I think we should get more of these games, because I actually really enjoy them, because they're short, bite-size, basically the length of a movie.
Yep.
And but with a little bit of interaction in them too. So I think these kind of games have a place. I like the sounds of Erica. It looked cool back then, and just from what you're saying, I think it sounds fantastic as well.
Yeah, it's definitely the story in it is right up my alley as well. There's occult ties, there's supernatural, there's dark, gloomy, sort of murder mystery type stuff as well. So it's it's very intriguing, and the way that you can just the way that you interact and choose how the story goes. I wasn't happy with my first ending, so there's so many different ways that you could go about this, and it'll be interesting as I play through it to see what else we can do.
Yeah, and even looking at the app on my iPhone right now, I can't see anywhere where it says PlayLink.
Oh,
I think Sony may have just gotten rid of PlayLink. Like they're still going to make those games, but maybe there is that stigma with PlayLink that they're just silly little iPhone games on a PS4. But yeah, it doesn't say anywhere. It says this app acts as a controller for the PS4 console. Yep. The Erica game and the PS4 console are sold separately. All the languages. It's called a companion app. It's not called PlayLink.
Yeah, it's I've read a few different pieces about it, and people complaining about the controls. I didn't have it playing with the controller, but that seemed to be what everyone said. Use the phone; it works much better. But I didn't have anything. Like, I didn't have to do anything twice, or I think probably the only thing was there's some parts where you've got to clean off a surface. So I'm sitting here rubbing my hands together like a spaz. But yeah, so you've got to sort of rub that little tiny box on top of the controller to try and clean off a surface, and that doesn't probably portray onto the screen as well as it could, but that was probably the only thing that I'd even... And even then, it's not really an issue. It's just takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I've just Googled Erica and PlayLink, and yeah, there's a lot of things here referring to it being a PlayLink title.
Okay.
Although they've kind of dropped it from any of their advertising because, yeah, they don't have any of the PlayLink icons or logos or anything like that on Erica. So, yeah, I think maybe they've just ditched it because they don't want people to think that it's like their other PlayLink games.
Well, yeah, either way, I can't talk it up enough. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I haven't had that sort of emotional response to a game in a long time. So it was, it's quite good to get through. I've got a couple of other games to run through as well. I spoke a couple of weeks ago about a game called Witch Hunt. Yeah, it's broken.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the loading screen is the sound is kind of spooky. At the moment, I can't get past. I've reached out to the people that do it to see if, like the developers, to see if I'm doing something wrong or there's some conflict somewhere, because I can't get past the choose your language screen.
Might have something to do with how you play games, mate. You're that bad you can't get into the game.
Yeah, it just won't let me. Just, no, we're not doing this. Walk away.
It's like, choose your language. You go like English, and it's like, no, wrong answer. Try again.
Incorrect.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's got like it highlights it in red, and you can't move anything with the keyboard. You can't, like, there's no mouse icon on the screen, but if you click the mouse, it just sort of the red just goes away and everything just sits there white, and it just keeps playing the same song over and over again. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, good game. Cool.
Yes. But speaking of witches, the Blair Witch. Oh, hell no. I've not played much. I actually missed that it was coming out. And so
you got scared and turned it off, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Pansy boy.
I wouldn't even say scared. I got spooked, because it was like, by the time I turned it on last night after it finished downloading, it was about 11:15, after I turned off good old Minecraft and went straight into Blair Witch after running around in sunshine. And very atmospheric. I've only played sort of 5, maybe 15 minutes of it. The atmosphere is very oppressive, very much like the movie, or the original movie was. And the noise, the sensation, it's all right up there. And I'll be playing a little bit more tonight once we're done here.
Yeah, that's good. It sounds I've been wanting to play this game, but I've just been very time poor. Well, downtime poor, if you will. So I haven't had a chance to play it.
Yeah, I believe Radicus has been playing it as well. And also Kaza has been streaming it. And I watched a little bit of his stream last night as well. And there's a few times that it got him, which was good. It may have, made me jump a little bit as well just watching, but yeah.
Oh, that's good. I as much as they're a kind of game that I really love to hate. And so, yeah, I look forward to giving that a go.
Awesome.
They're the kind of game I just love to not play.
Yes. That's why I just went, no, we won't even talk to Greg about this one.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I can see you play for 15 minutes and then had to go play Minecraft again for another hour before you went to bed.
No, I went and paid My Little Pony, mate. It's one of those guys, like, obviously it's just started. There's nothing scary at the front, but just the atmosphere that it portrays and the fact that I'm sitting here in the dark with just my, LED lights going behind the screen. And it was just enough for me to go, yep, headset off, thank you. I don't want to listen to shit creeping up behind me anymore. I'm going to bed. See you later. So I'll be getting into that a little bit more. And I love playing anything that's scary. And it's bound to be funny. So we'll get into that. No, Radicus, I'm not trying it with an Atmos headset. This one's bad enough.
Yeah, my headphones are Atmos compatible, and I've got to tell you, these headphones, when connected to the Xbox, are bloody brilliant. I've been playing Gears with them. Oh man, I've got to recommend them again. These are the Lucid Sound LX35s. Great headphones, so good.
Yeah, well, these Astros, they're enough to creep me out with the directional sound that comes through from these.
That's the A10s you got?
Yeah, the A10s, yep.
Yeah, they're good. Very good.
And so I play most of my gaming through, I stream it all to the PC. So I've got the headset plugged into the PC, and that was, yeah. Ooh, no thanks. All right, anything else you just want to cover? Luke, you want to let us know about any more of your 3D printing?
Yeah, well, I printed a massive task, the biggest print that I've done so far, and it's another Batman. You'd think I was a Batman fan. And if you're in our Discord server, you'll see I've started up a 3D printing in the non-gaming related section. I'm putting up some photos in there, and I've got a new Batman bust, and man, it's detailed. I am really blown away at how good this printer is, because I thought it was kind of like a fairly entry-level sort of beginner's printer, but it's really good and really easy to use. And because I've watched a lot of YouTube videos and on 3D printing, where there's like do's and don'ts and problems that you'll run into, and there's a lot of good hints and tips out there, but I don't need any of them. I literally just go print. And it just does it. That's another thing I've got to give my recommendation to is the FlashForge printer that I've got. It's the Adventurer 3. And for the amount of money that I paid for it, which wasn't through the roof, it's $669 that I got it for, right? That's Australian dollars. That's really good, I think. Because that's pretty close to probably one of the cheaper ones you can get. And it does really good. If you've seen some of the photos, those photos do it justice. And my Batman busts, well, love them. I'm in the middle of painting the big one that I've just done. I've just sprayed it black, and I'm going to do a silver dry brush over the top of it and kind of give it that sort of weathered stone look over the whole thing.
Oh yeah, yep.
I'm not a very good painter, so I'm trying to use some simple techniques that'll give a good effect. And it's black at the moment, so I haven't had time to do the dry brushing. But oh man, the things that I've been 3D printing. Have I talked about the Aussie Gamers Experience trophy?
I think we spoke about it. You
mentioned it last week. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it's in my
told us it's done.
It's in my hand right now. This is one of the first sort of real 3D things that I actually designed in a like little CAD program for children. And I made it in 2 parts so it could sort of print a lot easier. And I had to make the hole on the age symbol match up with the poles that I put in the base so it could sit on the base. And I'm like, I don't know if they're going to line up properly. And I printed it. And what do you reckon? Did they line up properly?
First go.
First try.
Perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. It goes on so good. I've spray painted it gold, and it looks amazing. Yeah, this is going to.
I must admit.
Yeah, it does look cool. It's going to go to somebody. It's going to be a prize for something. I've got to think up a mini competition for us to all battle for it.
I can make a plaque for it with the laser machine at work.
Oh, well, I was actually going to reprint, and this one will be for me. It was a bit of a prototype, and I'll reprint it with the actual person's name, the winner.
Ah, I see.
Printed onto it, because you can do that. And I'll upscale it because I made it kind of half size just for the little prototype, but it worked really good. And I want to give it away, but if anyone's got any ideas on what we can do for this mini little competition, let me know. Put it in the Discord channel.
All ideas are good ideas,
except for the shit ones.
Yeah, like that idea that Radicus has put in the chat.
Which one?
Jelly wrestling.
That's true.
A Snoogs head butt plug. Wow.
That's frightening. Anyone that's seen the size of my melon.
I know.
Wow. Skill level pro.
Oh, we're back there again. All right. Well, before we go and delve into complete anarchy, let's jump into some news items, shall we?
Yes.
Let's.
Grejio, tell us a tale, mate.
Tell us a tale. I will tell you a tale. A tale of a company that was called Telltale that closed down and is now being bought out by a company called LCG Entertainment. They plan on working with some of the former properties of the company, and they're going to go through the back catalog, work out what they want to play with, what they want to make games out of, and then they're going to sell the rest. It's headed up by 2 guys called Jamie Otterly and Brian Waddle. Jamie was the founder and CEO of Galaxy Pest Control, who made mobile games for like Duck Dynasty and Power Rangers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And Brian was headed up sales and marketing for Havoc Games Engine.
Yeah.
So they know the business. They've said a lot about this, but I've just picked up on some of the key things they said, which was they said that the Telltale game business was a viable business. It was just that due to changing market conditions and some of the scale choices that they used, it just sort of killed them. They're planning to not make the same mistakes. They like the episodic style gaming and they want to keep that, but they're going to try a different pacing, and they're going to look at how the market is consuming them and adjust to that. So it's early days, but some of the games, some of the IPs like Batman and The Wolf Among Us, those will probably see the light of day again. Obviously, The Walking Dead won't, because that got sold to Skybound.
They wrapped that up, didn't they?
And they wrapped that up. The Stranger Things game that they were looking at making, that proprietary rights has gone back to Netflix, so they've lost that. So there's a chance that probably won't see the light of day either. There's a lot of IPs like Game of Thrones and Borderlands and stuff like that that are a little bit up in the air. They're also talking about some stuff that's that they no longer have rights to, but they're chasing to see if they can maybe get them back. And there's a bunch of other games that Telltale made that were outside of those that they also have they now have the ownership of, and they're thinking about whether they can utilize those as well. So, look, it's obviously it was a unfortunate and epic end for Telltale when they fell over, but it's potentially getting a second life through this new company and these guys. So watch this space.
Yeah, well, Telltale Games died. They've used up a life and they're respawning soon.
Yes.
I've got a Telltale game sitting in my cupboard that I've never actually played. It's installed on PlayStation and everything. I just never put the disc in to actually play it. And it's of all things, it's the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes. So that is one of the ones that's in the list with Game of Thrones and stuff like that. They haven't actually announced what's happening with those, whether they still have them, whether they're going to use them, whether they're going to sell them. So it's, watch this space, I guess. So
yeah, fair enough. Awesome. Well, PS Plus and Xbox games with gold were released last week. Advised by the time this goes live, they'll actually be live on the respective stores. I'd like to see what you guys think. So for the PS Plus, we'll start with Batman Dark Knight. Was it? Is that what it's called?
Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight and Darksiders 3. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Arkham Knight. But
yeah, Arkham Knight was a great game.
I finished it. I've even done all the Riddler trophies in it.
Well,
that was fun.
Yeah, look. It's always fun.
Oh, they're insane, those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, the game was amazing, and as I've already exposed, I'm a massive Batman fan, but not even I will do all the Riddler trophies.
I don't know what it was. I started doing them, and it was just I hadn't even finished the main story yet. And I started by doing one or two, and I went, oh, yeah, these are all right. And the next thing you know, I'd done them all. And I'd found them, and it took me forever. And it was just going around the map, finding the Riddler trophies and getting them done. And absolutely insane. And funnily enough, everyone that I've spoken to, when I say, yeah, I've played it, I've done all the Riddler trophies, they're like, you're a nut job. So
yeah, some of them are quite difficult.
They are a good head scratcher. Like they're some of the problem solving needed in some of them was insane.
Yep. Yes.
And yeah, there was a lot of.
There's just too many of them.
Yeah, there are lots too.
There was lots. But Darkseid. So we've all played Batman and absolutely love it and talk about it. Darksiders 3. You boys played that one?
No.
So I played the original Darksiders, and it's one of the few games I rage quit, and I just walked away from the whole series. I was just like, no, it's too much of a rip-off of God of War to begin with. And secondly, it literally, I rage quit it because it was like, it just set up this whole thing that was just too hard to sort of finish with the way the autosaves worked, and I wasn't starting again for the sake of this. I gone that far, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not playing this anymore. So, it's kind of where I left it.
So if Grejio rage quit it, good luck.
Yeah, look, I played it. It's good, but it didn't hold me, and I'm not really interested.
Alrighty then.
Like I said, you might, if you want to play something that pretty much has done it better, go and play God of War.
Done. Okay. Over to the Xbox side of the fence. Hitman, the complete first season of Hitman.
Yeah.
You guys Hitman fans?
Oh, I like the premise. I've never actually sat down and played one of the games. I'll probably sit down and play this one. So
I liked Hitman Absolution. That was the first Hitman game I played, and that I really got into that one. When this one was announced as episodic, I just switched off. I'm sick of episodic stuff.
Yeah. Even though this is the complete episodes, would you give it a crack?
Well, it's not as big an issue now because they've all been released.
Yeah, I remember we had the conversation at the time.
Yeah. I have played this one, like part of the first episode or whatever it is, but it kind of felt like one step back from Absolution.
Okay.
It didn't look like it was anything new. It just was a bit old hat to me, so I never got into it. Never bothered.
All right. Yeah, I've never played a Hitman game, and I'm not really excited to play one, but hell, I'll give it a crack. Also on the Xbox One is We Were Here. I've got no idea what this is about.
We Were Here.
Yes, from September 16th to October 15th. The pricing on it is $4.99. So I don't know.
What the hell is this?
I don't know anything about it, unfortunately.
Is it a dungeon crawler? I think it
Dungeon
is.
crawler?
I don't know. I'm just looking at screenshots of it, and
While you're looking at that,
maybe I
you've
could
also
have
got
a look at a video.
Earth Defense Force. 2025?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, fair enough. On the Xbox 360 and also on the Xbox 360 is Tekken Tournament. And like they always say, and everything's playable on your Xbox One. So yes, they will be available as their dates come up. So either from the 1st to the 30th or the second half of the month. Any more news on We Were Here?
Apparently it's a co-op puzzle.
Well, yeah, it's not a dungeon crawler, but it's basically you're in a dungeon and you're just solving puzzles.
It's a first-person.
It doesn't actually look that bad.
First-person co-op adventure game in which two players have to work together to escape a dungeon.
Okay.
That little hieroglyph-looking thing on the wall looks like a penis.
Okay.
Sold. I'll play it.
All right. And on that note, Grejio, Disney wants to torture us all over again.
Yes and no. All right, so it was announced that Aladdin and Lion King were getting remasters. The two Aladdin games, the two different versions, the Genesis and the other version, I can't remember what it was for. So all three of them are getting remastered and bundled together in a nice, neat package and getting released on everything from PC to Switch. And so you get the games. There's visual and control customizations you can do now. So obviously you can play in like an old school visual mode, or you can boost it up. It's going to be very similar to the 30th anniversary of Street Fighter thing, because there's like a museum with concept art and music that you can play through. But they've also added what they're calling special features to make it easier to play the game. So there's going to be cheat codes that you can unlock. There's a rewind mode.
Quick save. Oh, rewind, yes.
So you can rewind those bits where you just screwed it up, and you can just rewind it and redo that bit again. And then there's also what they've called what do they call it? It's like a movie. They call it movie mode or a watching mode or whatever it is. And what you do is you watch the game play itself throughout, and then you just jump in and play the bits you want to play when it reaches the bit you want to play.
So the game will just play for you.
Play for you, and then you get up to the bit you want to play, and you just like press a button and you can play, So
that's kind of like just watching it on YouTube.
Yeah.
If ever I have
instead of having to switch to your
this
console.
is a participation trophy.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, kids.
Make them work for it.
Look, the kids of now don't know how easy they've got it. Let's put that way. These games tortured us as children, but
yeah. You talk about the difficulty. I saw a meme on Twitter the other day saying that move over Dark Souls, you are no longer the hardest game of the current generation.
Yes.
Well, The Lion King was touted as one of the hardest games that's ever been released.
Yeah, it was.
Lion King is the only game that I ever called the Sega hotline to get help on for it, you know? And that was like $5 a minute or whatever it was.
Back when? Into, 19... Back when $5 was a lot of money.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm a parent. $5 is still a lot of money to me. It's like, no, it's mine.
What do you want $5 for? You can't buy anything with $2.50. Well, seriously, what do you want $1 for? All right, here's 20 cents.
That's kind of, well, I didn't know about all the leg up features. I thought it was cool they were releasing it, and I was waiting to see, like just the rage moments of people trying to play it on stream. But it's not going to happen now.
Yeah, but this is The Witcher 3 on the Switch all over again. What does it matter if it has these extra features?
No. I was looking forward to watching people rage. That's all. It's if they want to put the features on it, fine. Do what you want. I don't care.
I've been playing the Global Gladiators on my Raspberry Pi, and it only occurred to me last week that I've never finished the first bloody level.
Yep.
Because that game is so damn hard. Because the Raspberry Pi, I can do quick saves. So you can save it at any point in the game, right? So I've been using the quick save so I can get past the first level because it's that hard. I got to the second level and I'm like, I've never seen this before in my entire life. This is one of my favourite games on the Mega Drive. Yeah. And as a kid, I never got past the first level. So I would probably just turn it on, play the first level, die, turn it off and go, that was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think it's great that they have these features because there's people out there like me that probably never got past the first level in bloody Aladdin. And I'll tell you now, I didn't.
Yep.
Let alone the bloody monkeys that you have to roar at in The Lion King. That's what I rang up. I rang up the Sega hotline to ask them which bloody monkeys do I roar at and in what order because it's doing my head in.
That was a bullshit level. I remember that level.
Yeah, and the guy told me, he goes, you got to roar at this monkey, this monkey, this monkey, and this monkey. And I didn't understand anything he said. And I went, okay, thank you, goodbye. And I think I just spent $15 of mum and dad's hard-earned money and got nowhere because I didn't understand a word he's told me. But I'm like, I can't remember any of that. It's like when someone gives you directions. Go, yeah, you got to go down this way, turn left and right, round the roundabout, at the lights, go straight, then left, then straight ahead, turn right at the massive fish memorial, and then go about 900 metres, and then turn upwards and you'll be there. I can't remember that.
The fish
I'll just use my GPS.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
anyway. It's coming out this spring. It'll be $30. Go
$30
so it's $10 a game essentially.
Yeah, it's 3 games.
Oh, okay. Right. So they're all in one.
Yes,
bundle.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I'll cop that. I thought it was like $30 for Aladdin, $30 for Okay, no, that's all right.
Good stuff. Keep it going, mate. Mortal Kombat.
So the other week we mentioned that Spawn was going to be on Mortal Kombat 11. The new bit of news is that the guy that did the original voice for Spawn, Keith David, is doing the voice for Spawn in Mortal Kombat 11. So that's good. For those of you that don't know who Keith David is, you would know his voice from
Rick and Morty,
Mass Effect,
Halo.
Yes, Halo as well. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of maybe a movie that you could recognize his face.
Oh, yeah, he's in heaps of movies, but
tends to play like a drill instructor sometimes and just yells a lot.
Yeah.
He plays
military kind of.
He plays the president on Rick and Morty.
Yes, that's another one.
Yes. There you go.
Anyway, there's enough. If not, those don't help you. Google Keith David. It's pretty easy name to remember. And I'm sure you'll recognize his face and go, yes, that dude.
Yes, he's in everything. Do you remember the Goose Game without a name?
Yes, Jerk Goose.
So it's what's apparently being referred to as Untitled Goose Game. I think the majority of the internet's just accepted that we're now calling it Jerk Goose because that's exactly what you can be. You can be a goose that's a jerk. And it's been given a release date. So last week a release date dropped for it for the 20th of September this month.
It's still not named, and it's got a release date of this month.
So it's still referred to as Untitled Goose Game. I believe it's coming to the Switch and PC. I'm not sure about the other things, or the other consoles. But yeah, the 20th of September, which is the same day that the Switch Lite and Link's Awakening is being released.
Oh, I want Link's Awakening.
Do you know the funny thing about, Link's Awakening was obviously the release date for that was set a long time ago. And so a few of the things that I've been reading around the place in regards to Jerk Goose release date is everyone's gone, well, I'm not playing Link now. I'll be playing this Goose game instead, where you go around and bite and nip at people and steal glasses off kids and quack and squawk and run off and do what you do. That's a whole lot of fun. I'll be playing that somewhere. That looks like quite enjoyable. Last bit of news tonight, Cyberpunk 2077. So we've just had PAX West, I believe it was, over in the US. And they've been releasing bits and pieces and little bits of snippets and whatnot. But I understand there's been a whole lot of stuff for Cyberpunk, including another 11 minutes of gameplay footage or something.
Yeah, so they did another deep dive of the game, and it pretty much it gave a lot of information on what the game is and what we can expect. So I've got a fair whack of information here, so I will go through it. Obviously, the release date will be on the 16th of April next year.
Yep.
So, character creation. One of the things that they sort of pointed out, which is slightly different, is part of your character creation, you have to choose essentially your backstory, your past, which dictates some of the traits and interactions that you'll have in the game.
I'm going to have dead parents.
So yeah,
Jesus.
I'm Batman.
On top of that, the other things you'll be customizing with your characters, obviously, your body, your intelligence, your reflexes, your technical, what is called technical, and your cool. Now, cool is a hybrid of, from the way I've read it, it's a hybrid between your charisma and your stress management abilities. Patience, essentially. So as well as looking cool, you will be able to choose from 3 classes to sort of build off. So solo, a techie, and a netrunner.
Mm-hmm.
Once you choose a class, however, you're not locked to it. So you can essentially create your own hybrids of the classes. So you can pick the bits and pieces you like of them and do whatever. You can run a straight class or you can run a hybrid. It's up to you. The same with the traits that you pick up from your past. While they start you off, you're not locked into them. You have the ability to change those traits and how you interact with people.
Okay.
Just a quick run through. The Netrunner is like a hacker kind of play style. So you hack stuff to get around and
Johnny Mnemonic.
Yep. Solo is essentially a brute style playthrough. So, smash, bash, rip turrets off walls, stuff like that. Bust in doors through physical means. And then your techie class is device and hardware control. So you've got like robots and stuff like that you can use. The weapons have multiple classes that they belong to, and they have customizations that not only obviously change the physical appearance, but the actual use and abilities of the gun. Individual weapon skills will come into play. So obviously, the more you play with a single weapon, the more proficient you become at using said weapon. Weapons, and I like this. It's probably not a crucial consideration for the game, but it will give it depth. The weapons will kind of have history, which kind of help dictate how they work and why they work the way they do. Kind of a bit the way that Destiny's weapons had sort of lore built into them. These will sort of have a similar thing. So it sort of the time frame and the era that they came from kind of help build this sort of ethos around the gun about why it works the way it does. That anyway, it's just a interesting piece of information. There is an 8-barrel shotgun where all 8 barrels fire at once. I just put that down because that's freaking awesome. There's melee weapons. There's cybernetic enhancements for your body. So, for example, you can attach cybernetic legs that give you the ability to double jump. And then those parts also have customizations on top of it again.
All right.
Another one is reflex enhancement. So obviously, when you use it, it acts like a slow motion. Obviously, you're moving faster, so time slows down. But the interesting part about that is your enemies can use these cybernetic features as well. So the ones that have reflex enhancements, they will zip across the screen super quick. So you'll have to be able to combat those sorts of things.
So it kind of reminds me of... Okay, I've gone blank. It was released a couple of years ago. There's a few of them where you build up your cybernetic enhancements as you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I know the game you're talking about. That's that like Deus Ex
that's
or
the
something?
one, Deus Ex. So it sounds like the building of yourself and your enhancements. That's probably your RPG style.
It sounds like a good version of Deus Ex.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that's where your sort of RPG build comes into it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That and yeah, everything seems to be very RPG sort of work. And coming to that, my next point is they made a comment about obviously there's this problem, and it's not a huge problem, but it is a problem for players where there's this sort of tear between aesthetically appealing versus best stats. And sometimes you'll get like this build that looks super awesome, but then you'll get something that's like better stats and you drop that on, and then all of a sudden your player looks shit and it just bothers you that whole time.
Yeah, but that's RPG 101.
It is, but they have admitted that they understand that that's a problem, and they're trying to work a way around fixing that. It is.
Isn't it first person anyway?
Yeah, but there'll be times where you'll have to look at yourself. You still have to look at yourself.
Cutscenes.
Yeah,
cutscenes, stuff like that.
Cutscenes.
Nah, it's not a problem.
It is a problem. I'm going to tell you right now, I hate it. It shits me to tears. It's one of the few things I hate about RPG.
But that's one thing.
It's like I've got full obsidian armor and this stupid feathered helmet because that's the best thing that suits me. And I'm like, that's fucking ridiculous, and it shits me. Anyway,
yep,
I appreciate it. Thank you, CD Projekt Red. And
you'll get a note in the disc. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So there'll be 6 districts you can play in. There'll be gangs associated with that. The gangs will all have very distinct and individual feels. They also have their own stories that play out. Vehicles, obviously, will be another thing that you can keep, and you can also name your vehicles. For whatever reason, they thought that that's something you should be able to do, so that they've done it. So you can call your car Kit or something like that. There are flying cars. In the design of the city, CD Projekt Red actually hired real city planners to help them plan out the city, just to give it that essence of realism.
Yep.
Now, here's another big sort of claim. They're saying while traveling through Night City, there are no present load screens at all while you travel from one end to the other.
Okay.
So that's
So there shouldn't be.
I think they're just reassuring everyone and saying, this is a thing where this is what we're doing. There'll be Witcher-esque side quests that, have their own life and story and whatnot. Johnny Silverhands, so as we all know is Sexy Keanu, he is a digital construct in your head, and you have the ability to befriend him and even create him as an ally. There is a cyberspace matrix embodiment of the Night City environment network, so there's probably a bit of a matrix part to it. The levels all have multiple solutions to the levels, so you can play out how you want to, which we've seen in other gameplay trailers.
Yep.
Obviously, also to do with the different classes. Obviously, they will lend themselves to different tactics as well. So, and they are saying that every choice in the game matters. It will affect how the world reacts to you. However, there is no obvious good versus evil, good, bad, light, dark decision making. It's all going to be pretty much down the middle, and it's up to the player to decide which is the pro and the con, or the positive and the negative, good, bad.
That kind of sounds like Dying Light 2, with some of the decision making in that. So you've got you can do this, and here's the pros and cons, or you could do this, and here's the pros and cons, and which way do you want to go with it? But there's no definitive, this is the better way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So those are the those are the tidbits I have. So look, it's awesome from what I can tell.
Well, it sounds
pumped.
awesome, and that's an absolutely massive amount of information that's there and that's come out of this thing. And now I don't get into the nitty gritty of especially something like this, which I'm looking forward to. Can I explain on 4 different pages that I've looked at over the last couple of days, the headline that has come up in regards to Cyberpunk 2077? Still no confirmation if you can have a first-person sex scene.
Yeah, because that's the make or break of this game.
Yeah, and that's something I sort of see that and just go, really, that's what we're looking for. Can't do that because it'll be banned in Australia because they'll finish and have a smoke or something, and oh no, heaven forbid, turn it off. I've forgotten. Do we have a release date for that yet?
16th of April.
16th of April. That's right.
Yep.
I knew it was next year.
Yep.
Alrighty. Sweet. I believe that's it for news, boys. Anything else you've popped into your head as we've been going along?
Yes, but not news. It's the last word.
All right. Well, let's jump on over to... Okay, what?
Just quickly, the big releases of the week.
Oh, of course, yes.
So, September 3 has got Final Fantasy VIII Remastered and the Spyro trilogy being released. And September 6 has the DLC for Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and NBA 2K20 is also on the 6th. So, yeah, if those are your jam, get onto it. But if those are your jam, you should be telling me that.
All right, let's jump over to some last words. All right, Luke, take us away, mate.
All right, last week we were talking about The Witcher 3 coming out on the Switch. And it wasn't until I was doing the editing and listening back to the show that something occurred to me. Now, not to get back into the argument that was posed about you being unsure how you felt about such a high-fidelity game being dumbed down for the Switch, it kind of occurred to me that The Witcher 1 and The Witcher 2 were PC exclusives.
Yes.
And then they brought The Witcher 3 to console. PC gamers out there not sure how they feel about that?
I've played The Witcher 1 and 2 on PC now, and they did not age well.
Yes. Fair call. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting, and I'm sort of annoyed I didn't think of that on the spot. But during editing, I was like, see, it was originally a PC game, so if anything was dumbed down, it probably was originally.
Yeah, probably.
I did also notice that we jumped on you pretty hard too. We probably could have came in a little bit softer.
No, we fucking deserved it.
I was listening back and just going, wow, did we take to him like a pack of wolves?
Yeah,
jump in. If you had tried to be nice, I would have thought I was in more trouble.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, because when you're in real shit, it's like, hey, Pat,
look, come on,
we need to talk, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, I'm moving to Canada. So yeah.
And I probably, if you're really in trouble, I'll probably give your mum a call first and find out what your middle name is.
I can take that one. It's all good.
It's not James as well, is it?
No,
Close.
pretty close.
Everybody's
Pretty close.
everybody's middle name is James these days.
No.
I only
Very
know-
close, mate.
I remember because it's the same as mine, actually.
Same as yours. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All these weird stuff that happens out there. Hey? All right. I've got no other last words this week except for the usual bits and pieces. Don't forget, if you're coming to PAX down in Melbourne, you've got Synth Spaces and the guys from the Sega Hotline are going to be doing a panel on the Saturday. We'll give out some details closer to. And come along. If you're in our Discord channel, we've got a PAX channel. And if you're coming along, hit us up. Say good day. Any other?
Yeah, it's Brian from Synth Spaces, Tim Smith, Tim Gadler, and the other guy that's not on social media.
Yes, those guys. And good old Spaces the other day saying, he's a bit nervous about it. I reassured him, he's got some mates in the crowd that will come up with some weird and wonderful sayings if it gets quiet ever. So that'll be good.
Pat, don't stand up in the middle of it and just go, "You're breathtaking."
Oh, that could work. Yeah. All right. Any other last words, Greg?
No, man, I'm good.
No worries. Luke, give your other show a plug, mate.
It's called That Other Show. It's
Have
good.
a listen out for it.
It's good.
iTunes and YouTube.
One other thing I actually want to bring up as well is, Luke, you've been doing a lot of little daily videos on Twitter. So make sure you follow at AussieGamers12 and hit them up because there's always something weird and wonderful. And I haven't actually watched today's one yet. Something about coffee.
Oh, yeah, for all you coffee lovers, because I had one of my really old but still really cool Aussie Gamers mugs that I had made up with one of the banners that I put together.
Yes.
And I was just having a coffee when I started the video, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a drink of my coffee because it's going to get cold. And it made it into the video. And there's also a mystery box in the video that I received in the mail today, and it's something that I'll be reviewing.
Ooh.
It's not open yet.
It's not open yet.
So it was just go and have a guess. I'm not giving it away because it's not mine. I have to give it back. But just for a bit of fun, see if you guys can pick what you think it is.
No, I'm going to ask you straight up off air.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's why I'm going to do it off air. Everyone listening, guess what it is? Yeah?
Yeah.
Sorry, it just keeps going quiet at this end. Aussie.
It's because no one's talking.
No, like even the little other bits and pieces of sound that are usually around seem to drop out. It's like it's dropping out again. There's one. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, I walked into that one. Aussie Gamers TV and Snooger Vision over on Twitch, and of course Grejio XBL on Instagram. That's the one. That's the one the kids use, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, let's close out the show, boys. What do you reckon?
Yes.
Sounds good. Thank you very much to everyone that has listened to the show, and especially those that are still listening this far along. A super special thanks to the guys chatting away, Mudikins, Radicus, Grill, and of course Kaza. Hope you've been having fun in there listening along live. Grejio and Lucas, thank you very much for joining me, mate.
A pleasure.
You're most welcome.
To all of our listeners, feel free to continue any of the topics we've discussed on this show on our Facebook page or the Discord channel. And, of course, to get in touch with us directly, you can shoot us an email at info@theagexp.com. While you're at it, go and check out our website, www.theagexp.com. Links, as always, are in the podcast show notes and descriptions, wherever they may be found. That's all from me. And, as always, I am Snoogs.
I'm Lucas.
I have been Grejio.
See us.
Righto, that's the end of the show. Does anybody listen to the show this far along? I don't know, but if you do, join our exclusive Discord club known as the Agents of Age. Just join our Discord channel using the link in the show description and comment the phrase, "I came here to party," and you will gain Agent of Age status. Subscribe to this podcast using the links to the things in the show description notes, and if you are listening, know this, we love you. See you next time on the official podcast of the Aussie Gamers Experience.